Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and oh boy Z, do we have an absolute banger for you all today. We're going to be following up to the NTS cheating allegation scandal that has been going on for the past number of days. We covered this a little while ago, and today we're going to be showing you some new information. And before we get started, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up, because it helps out a lot. I want to give a shout out first and foremost to the individuals that did take the time to reach out to me, knowing that I would keep their anonymity and who were willing to provide me with material. I will also be providing some clear disclaimers throughout once we end up getting to those pieces of information. There's going to be some screenshots, there'll be some videos, some audio recordings, and yeah. And then you guys can kind of decide for yourself on what you think the truth is or not. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and dive in to the goodies here, and that is Sierra. These goodies bring my... No? Okay, I mean, I thought it was appropriate. All right, first one. Quick little recap. So these were some screenshots that were shared from Mudpab. I'm just going to say Ma because I'm not sure exactly on the actual pronunciation of that. So this was a DM shared with Ma where it says, give me your account details. We will check how we can improve our combat performance by attacking the same legion with the same troops controlled by one person. I want to be very clear here. I did reach out to Ma and I shared this screenshot or one similar to this and asked, hey, was this something that you sent? His response to me was, no, I did not send that, that the screenshot is a fake. Here's another one that was shared earlier, right, where you can see another DM, right, we have lost many seasons, we will try a different approach to win this time. Other NTS players will also use it, right, mentions something like this kind of bot. And again, you could see in the DMs, right, it is going from one language converting to another language. This is consistent where you'll see the lining off to as well. You could see the brown lines are consistent going, but the text line actually moves. If you go in-game and you look at world chat and you convert a message, it will do a similar thing as well. I actually tested this just before. But again, right, you guys can kind of make that your mind up for yourselves. Then we have another screenshot here, right? This was one that was taken, and then you see, I think someone had done like a Google Lens conversion. And I think Sneaky might have shown this off in his video when he covered it, right? And it says, personally, I use SB Game Hack. For farming, Game Guardian is very good for PvP. Okay, but how do I connect? A Game Guardian work on your side? Can it be used? Go to Discord voice. I will help you. And then we get to what ultimately came down, where VIP support had actioned that any of the affected players, right? This is, and I want to be very clear, this isn't like the entire alliance in NTS, right? This is them talking about affected players, however many it may have been, whose accounts data was abnormal in the alliance NTS after investigating their accounts were banned for 1 day. Then we get to kind of the second phase here, which is some interesting things, and we're going to start getting to some new information now. So, in a moment, you'll see this was something we shared last time, right? Where someone had provided, like something happened in Escape from Tarkov. I did ask Ma if he's ever played Escape from Tarkov or League of Legends. He told me he has never played that. Again, I don't have any proof otherwise to indicate that he has, unless someone was able to come forward and provide screenshots or something of them in Discord voice or clicking on his name and it says, hey, he's playing League of Legends or hey, he's playing Escape from Tarkov. Like it would have to kind of be something like that and very clear. But again, asked, said this wasn't him. We get to the League of Legends, right? There was a ban wave here that happened, right? Same player, same name, same format of the name, right? But again, mentioned that it wasn't him. Then we end up getting to a new screenshot, and this was interesting because this was provided to me a couple days ago, where somebody apparently had got a response back from Tarkov support, and they said, thank you for your inquiry. We can confirm that this player, whose username features a lowercase p, not an uppercase, is based in Moscow and has provided the birth year of 1978. Unfortunately, due to our privacy policies, we're unable to provide additional details about this player. Very interesting. And I actually had asked Ma if he's from Moscow, if he's ever lived in Moscow. He confirmed with me that he is there in Moscow, or has been in Moscow for a period. And so, again, does that line up? Is that consistent? Are we seeing some trending information? I don't know. So now I'm going to get to another thing here. And I'm going to play this clip first for you so you can hear how Ma sounds, right? This is where we really start getting into what I think is probably and could be the most incriminating part. Okay, so listen closely.
То, что ты можешь купить у меня подписку. У меня подписка стоит 7 евро первый месяц.
Okay, now I'm going to play you an audio recording.
Многие люди уже подозревают, что мы делаем. Что мы можем на самом деле сделать? Game Guardian должен получить новое незаметное обновление. Они знают слишком много? На этом этапе нас все равно забанят. Game Guardian испортил нас в нескольких играх?
Okay. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, what in the bloody heck did this person say? Well, what we ended up doing from here is I ran this through two translators, MP3 converters to text. And I'll show you the ones I used. I used Nada and I used Zamzar, right? Just the first two that weren't sponsored links that came up on Google. The Nada one converted to this. I'm not a boy, I'm just a man, I'm a DLM, I'm just a DLM Game Guardian, I'm going to and I will see you in the next video. Okay, so kind of sounds like maybe the converter had some challenges there, maybe about a third of it kind of makes a little bit more sense. I then ran this through Zamzar and I ended up getting this text file that was sent to me. I then put it in to Google Translate, wherever my translate is that I thought I had up somewhere, but here, I'll just do it for you in real time. Why? Might as well. Here, so let's go to translate. Bam, bam, bam. We'll move this over, and then we're going to go Russian, and then we'll read this out as it comes up. So it says, many people already suspect that we are doing, and just to be clear, right, on the file name, you can see that lines up, right? So it's not like I renamed it for anything. So it says, many people already suspect what we are doing. What we can actually do, Chem Guardian, which I'm assuming is Game Guardian, just to probably typoed there, just the way it converted, is due to receive a new discrete update. They know too much. At this stage, we will be banned anyways. Game Guardian spoiled us in several games. Kind of indicating that, again, if this is true, that they've probably have used this in other games before. And so this, to me, I believe, is probably the most incriminating part. Now, again, let me be very clear. Does this mean that every single person in NTS is using some kind of third-party software? No, not at all. Does it mean that some people are using third-party software? Yes. I think it's safe to say that at least is the heavy inclination, where before, when I covered the previous video, I just didn't think that anything was overwhelmingly suspect. Yes, were there a few moments that we saw in troop movement that were suspicious? Absolutely. But I didn't feel that there was enough at that time to really report or to cover something and to speak on it in a way because I wasn't technically savvy enough, or what I should say is not technically savvy enough to know exactly what the inner workings and the implications or the inner workings or intricacies. I'm trying to use a different word here. Point is that this is something that I feel is a lot more damning, and at least I should say more upfront and very clear in how it looks. So with that in mind, then we get to the safe and fair policy came out, right? So this came out shortly, 3 days ago as of recording this, right? And all of this is kind of happening in a very small window, right? Because of the allegations and things that have been mentioned, and now other alliances are coming into light that have been mentioned out there too as well, where they may be doing things. And again, if anyone has any evidence, you're more than welcome to share with me. Just hit your boy up in DMs. It says, to ensure a fair and healthy Call of Dragons gaming environment and offers Lords a great gaming experience, we would like to remind everyone that the following rules apply at all times during the game. The use of plugins, synchronizers, and other third-party software that affect the fairness of the game is strictly forbidden. Upon discovery, severe measures will be taken, including but not limited to suspension, permanent account bans, depending on the severity and number of violations. Any form of sale, purchase, or transfer of accounts is strictly forbidden. We urge Lords to protect their personal account information against violations such as transfer and purchase, and we'll go to this one, of accounts. Severe restrictions and sanctions will be taken, including but not limited to warnings, character login restriction, removal of inappropriately obtained earnings, and permanent account bans. We will not be responsible for any private information leaks, if I can pronounce that correctly, and damages resulting from a Lord's personal actions. So whether or not it lines up that they're going to be bolstering. I think they had mentioned that before in some DMs that we saw where they were planning to kind of bolster the department for kind of anti-cheating, if you will. Now, let me point this out. This isn't, at least again, I don't know if this is some kind of a legal crime, if you will. Is it more of a, at least moral and kind of, I guess probably more of like a moral and integrous or integrity-based crime? Yeah, I think we could probably all, at least at minimum, agree there. So it is, again, it is unfortunate that these things are happening, that people are doing it, in these games. And I think probably the most common one that seems to be reported on is just the fact that there's people out there that are using some kind of tools and mechanisms to be able to control multiple troops more than, let's just say, the 5 that they're able to do on their personal character and account. And if you think about kind of the most severe way that this can be applied, well, just think about if your peak time, let's say you have 200 people in an alliance, your peak time, you got 150 people online, you guys can stay online for 8 hours, right? Or maybe 10 hours. And then you start to dwindle off. And then let's say your low time is where maybe you only have, 20 people online. And that 20 people online maybe peaks for 6 to 8 hours. Well, what if some of those players that were playing during your low time or your non-peak hours were able to manage multiple accounts at the same time? It would almost act as though you have 24/7 coverage, when the average activity time for your players would not indicate that, and has not consistently shown that. So it very much can be a massive swing, especially when you think about the back and forth for territory removal, opportunities to zero cities. It's pretty impactful when you really get down to it, and we're not really covering it incredibly in depth, but really just kind of talking about some of the big highlight points. With that in mind, that's it for me. I would love to hear what you guys think. Again, do you agree that now it seems like, okay, hey, this is a little bit more clear, very much feels like whoever was a part of it in NTS, and however many, there at least is one person that is doing this? Or is it, nothing was very clear? And let me point out the disclaimers, and I did forget to mention this in the beginning, is that, one, there wasn't any video with the audio, right, which obviously would have been better, to where if we could actually see the fact that if this was in fact Ma, and you saw his voice moving in Discord, right, that clearly would have been, I think, better. For the direct messages that were shown between Ma, well, it would have been nice if we could have seen who the player names were. It would have been nice if we could have had a couple more screenshots, or better yet, if I was able to have a video of someone going into their account, opening up the direct messages, and then scrolling up and down, and then doing any text or language conversion if needed, or language translation. Those are the two things that I really would have loved to seen. Because I think in that case, it would have allowed for it to just be very crystal clear at that point. Anytime you're just getting screenshots, it is a little bit more challenging, at least in my opinion, right? I feel at times you can't really 100% commit. And that's why, again, I'll kind of leave it to you. Do you think that NTS, however many people may be involved, that there's at least one person and it's pretty clear at this point? Or no, we still don't have enough, but this is a little bit more than we've seen. And maybe it has you questioning, or you're just still on the other side of the fence that, I just don't think that they did it. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.